have been really supportive and really, really lovely and encouraging. But to everybody else, for all of your honesty and your courage for stepping up here and just giving all, because I've learned so much from every single one of you, and it's just been really, really good.
I just wanted to say, being out of the workforce for 6 years, looking after little kids, and this is the first course I've ever done, and it was astounding. It blew my mind. It was beyond my expectations. And thank you, Kate, for the feedback today. That was brilliant, and it's given me the confidence to back myself, because I didn't have that before. Because, you know, when you leave for a while and you come back, it's all a bit dodgy. So thank you.
Sam, thank you. Thank you. Thank you. That has been absolutely awesome. I've learned a hell of a lot today, and I really feel like we're all improving. So thank you so much. It's been really awesome.
I wish everyone all the best on the course. I think it was a wonderful course. And Sam, you've created an amazing business, but I also want to congratulate the people you've got working underneath you, because it wouldn't be that great if you didn't have all this wonderful resource. And I congratulate them for supporting you. It's excellent.
I'd actually just like to thank Sam and the team so much for everything you've done, but I'd really like to thank everybody else. I have learnt so much from all of you. It's just been so exhilarating. I'm so excited for each and every one of you, because it's just the growth in such a short space of time has been phenomenal. So thank you all very, very much.
So I want to say, look, I've forever been doing courses and programs. I've probably spent over $350,000 in my life. This was worth every cent. I'm very, very impressed with the level of knowledge of the coaches. And they just kept offering gold nugget after gold nugget. Definitely was worth every minute as well. So thanks.
Hi guys, I just wanted to say my work relies on face-to-face workshops, speaking at conferences around the world. So investing in this course is really about looking to the future. So it's really an investment in the long term. It's been a really, really professionally put together course. So commendations all round to all of you.
From the age of 9 years old, I have been fascinated with success. The day I left school, I could not read, spell or write. I had no idea what I wanted to be or could be. All I did know was I had a burning desire to create success. I just didn't know where to start or how to achieve it. My only option was to get a job at McDonald's. For 18 years, my desired success mission was to own my own McDonald's stores. For me to achieve this, I needed to be an outstanding performer and create wealth of over $1 million, debt-free. I achieved my desired success mission 3 years ago. I currently own 2 McDonald's stores that produce over $8 million in revenue per annum. For many years, I have had a deep sense that my story, message and knowledge was meant to be heard by more than just the people within my life. I knew I had to find the right person to help me achieve this mission. Sam showed me the power of stories, the ability to be more vulnerable, and most of all, how to systemize 20 years of leadership, business, and success knowledge. If you have a story, message, or knowledge that you want to share and add value to people, Sam is your man.
Hey guys, Sam Cawthorne here, CEO and founder of Speakers TV. Lean in where you can, give us any level of feedback, and we are really excited about your success. And don't forget, the best is yet to come.
I was born at a very young age, back in Germany. So staying there, I had a really good way of living and around that. And until about the age of 9 or 10, I became interested in spirituality. I also became interested in religion. So I spent 26 years in a religious cult. I suffered through being in that religious cult a number of things, of abuses. After I left the cult, I was more or less in a place where I was completely lost, and I didn't know what to do and where to start life again. And therefore, I found myself in a place of despair. The despair took me on a journey and more or less on a quest. I then joined and looked for professional mentors and coaches to assist me to get my story out. But before that, give me the confidence, give me the strength, the path, the strategies to do that the best way. I then started to be able to stand on stage, to share my story, to help and assist so many others. I knew that inside myself I have a passion to help people. I want to see people thrive and become the best of themselves, no matter what the circumstances may have been in their lives. Anyone can change if they change their mindset and create new habits, new strategies, and create a future they want, no matter what the past was ever. And that is where my voice, where once I was not able to speak, now I was empowered because of the proximity, because of the people I surrounded myself in these last 2 years. Put me on that stage, put me in connection, put me into places I could only dream of many years ago.
Welcome to Speakers TV, and I'm super excited because on today's Friday episode, we have brought together some of the best speakers in the world. And not only that, if you're really struggling in your life, or maybe you're ready for a transition, or maybe you want to story, or maybe you want to learn tangible takeaways to get on stage on 10X, or alternatively learn how to write a best-selling book, then you've tuned into the right episode, because we've put together some of the best speakers in the world to really help and coach you all throughout this episode. So please lean in where you can, and I know that for your life the best is yet to come.
All right, we're going to get our next speaker up. He's going to energize you. He's going to get you up and moving. He's going to get you thinking. You'll be familiar with our next speaker. He is quite he's a regular trainer and master facilitator at Speakers Institute. He's got a PhD in psychology. He has been traveling around the world for the last 25 years teaching about his new cognitive learning theory. He has changed the lives of tens of thousands of educators and professionals around his radical thinking of the way we can teach, educate, and be facilitators. So with that, please welcome to the stage Dr. Rich Allen.
Afternoon. Raise your hand if you're live, awake, and ready to rock and roll. Okay, raise your hand if you're mostly lying about that just to look good. Just double checking, it's the afternoon. Actually, I do recognize some faces, so raise your hand if you have done one of the sessions that I have done. Lots of people in here I've recognized. Have not yet done one of my sessions. And just don't give a damn, want to get on with it. Just double checking. Folks, if you've not yet met me before, my name is Rich Allen, and one of the things that people who have worked with me before know is I like to get people involved. So, to begin, the conversation today is going to be, well, your topic was the future, so I put, let's make it the topic of the future of, dun, 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 dun. Seemed fairly appropriate for this particular group. Here's the good news. The good news, honestly, is to me, is I think speaking right now is shifting. And the even better news is, if you hear some of the thoughts that come up in the next few minutes while I'm up here, honestly, I think you could be on the cutting edge of being a speaker. So rather than just tell you about them, I'd like to show them to you. Please stand up. Oh, let's do music with it too, why not? Yeah, come on. Please get to at least 4 people, shake their hand, and say, glad you're here. Go. Folks, thank you very much for doing that. Sometimes I start off a session and they say it's a keynote. But I start a session off like that and people say, but that's not what a keynote is. Person's supposed to stand up there and talk. Actually, in the couple of minutes you just did of stand up and chat with some others, you experienced what I call the 4 major changes that are happening in the world of speaking. I'm looking, they give me a timer up here. Please know I have 41 minutes left to make a difference in the world. I want to see if I can change some of your thoughts about what it means to be, and here's the dangerous word, a speaker. So I'm going to tell you what those 4 things are in just a moment. But first of all, I think whenever you say I'm a speaker, please know I think it's dangerous. What are you writing? Stop writing. I'll get to the good stuff in a minute. First, pay attention. Honestly, I think people say, I'm a speaker, and what image that gets in their brain is that what it means is I'll get to come on stage, the house lights will go off, spotlight will be all on me. It's just awesome. And it's the word that sets us up that way. But here's what I actually think. The changes that are coming is it's shifting from being about the speaker to being about the audience. What is the audience taking away? Are you giving them value that they can hold on to and they can use? So to make it be about the audience, here's the 4 things that I see changing. Ready? Whenever you do a talk, first of all, you've got to let them think about things. Second, you need to let them talk about those things. Third, you cannot let them sit the whole time because sitting is hard. We get the dreaded disease. And fourth, most important, folks, you need to let them rock. They have to be alive and engaged for those memories to transfer out there and be useful. Now, I see many pens and electronic devices out there, but I got a better way to do this. Watch, please, stand up. Quick, stand up, hurry, hurry, hurry. It's almost 5 o'clock, hurry. Ready? Here the 4 are. I'll show you first, then do it. They have to think, they have to talk, they have to move, and they have to rock. Do with me. They have to. Good. I'm going to put on the music. When I say go, you have to do that with at least 3 people right in their face. Do those actions, say those words. Go. Need to know that you know them. Ready? Please do the actions and say the words with me. We got to. I was messing with you. Ready? From the top. Eve, I can see you from here. Why are your hands not moving? I can see you. You just did the motions. You don't have to write it down. Folks, if you don't know this by the time we're done, I'll be absolutely astonished. So let me do this briefly, an overview with you. What do I mean by that? Folks, if a speaker is standing up here, let's talk about why do I say let them think for a moment. Watch in slow motion. If they say something good, what do you start to do? And that's why I've joked about it a couple times. But when you write, where does your head go? Head goes down, your brain goes somewhere else. And when you're doing that, what are you not doing? This is how our brain works. So when Fran introduced me, she said, PhD in educational psychology. Well, folks, please know what that really was I studied how the brain functions in terms of the learning process. And some little things about all the learning and brain theory I've done over the years have come down to me, and it's very simple. I'm like 150 years old now. God, some days I feel that way. So I wonder if this is going to be my last presentation ever, but I think people need to know some of this stuff. So if it's true that somebody says something good and they need to think about it, what should the speaker do? Because one of 2 things is going to happen. You're either going to miss what they're saying, or you're going to stop your notes and look up to see what they are saying about and what happens to your notes. That way, has anyone ever done this? Have you ever been at a conference and you're a good note taker, so you take lots of good notes, right? But they're speaking on, and then later you go back and look at your notes, right? And the next day you open them, you go, "What's that?" Because you had absolutely no idea, because you were so interested in what the good speaker was saying, the good information they were offering. Now, I always say whenever I mention this, that it's hard to do this. Because when they give you it, they say, here, would you please take the stage and become a speaker for us? Well, they usually don't give you 17 hours to tell all the good stuff you got. They say, you got 45 minutes. And so people, if you're invited to be a speaker, the first thought is, shut up, here I come. And we just blast people with words. Words are important. Words are good. Good ideas are good. But if we want the speaking to be about the audience, what do we need to do occasionally? Stop and let them think for a moment so they can process all that good information. In fact, I'm going to take responsibility for myself. It happened to be in this room several times this morning. Is it Julie that was on stage this morning with Sam first? Julie Smith? Oh, right. Okay, good. She said something this morning that I've never heard. And again, this is actually, and I'm telling the truth, year 40 of me doing this for a job. And I've been doing this for a long time, and I've heard a lot of the common phrases that you hear about motivation, et cetera, over the years. They cycle back around. But she said something I hadn't really quite heard before, and it was something about, wait, you can't be convenient? No. Confident. Confidence, that was it, right? Yeah, confidence, not, or be certainly not confident, something like that. Anyway. So watch, this is just me. This is what happened. So she said, I said, I've never heard that before. I like that idea. So I pulled out my iPhone and I'm opening up a page. And by the time I got a page ready to write it down, I'm thinking it was confidence, not convenience. No, not confidence, connections. No, what the hell did she say? You know? And I'm trying, because by then 30 seconds had passed, the moment had passed, and she went on to other really good things to say. So in this moment, what happens is I lose all that information. So folks, if you are becoming a speaker and you want to get your information out to people, you organize your plan so carefully. Please add this word to everything you do. Pause. Might be exceptions. We will talk about it in a non-public environment. Okay. It's the one thing I wish more speakers would do. Okay, now, and for you, some of you in the room with different words, I'll try to say it clearly. It works for two big reasons. If I see your heads go down and start to write, or you start to get involved in something, I pause for a moment and let you do that. But what am I doing? Taking a nice, deep mental breath. So watch. Most speakers, if you've done it for a long time, we have what are called scripts in our heads. We know the pattern, we know the story we're going to tell, and it's all one sentence connects to the next. And it just rolls out of your head. You're not actually present with the audience. So one of my favorite things to do is get you involved in something. I just stop for a moment and I watch. This to revert with these people, I've heard this information. So how can I take what I'm about to say and make it as relevant as possible to these people? And I try to bring my brain present so I can connect with people in the room. Now, if you haven't done a lot of speaking, and it's only your 100th time or so, and you're still early on in your speaking career, or what do you do while people are talking? What do you do? Freaking check your notes. What am I saying next? Okay, or you stop and they're writing and you just think to yourself, when am I going to tell that story next? Okay, good. You just give yourself that little mental breath to pause, relax. And all of a sudden, you'll be a better speaker almost instantly if you quit freaking talking the entire time. So ready? The first thought I'm going to say is let them think. Please turn to people near you. What's your reaction to me saying that? Pause in the middle of time and let people talk for 30 seconds, a minute. Do you agree? Disagree? Ready? Talk about it. What do you think? All right, wait. Pause. I'm going to add something to it. Sometimes I say that and people say, yeah, but I don't believe that's true. Well, about 10 years ago, I got asked to write something for a 2-volume edition of the Encyclopedia of the Brain and Learning. So they had all these people from around the world, people who have been studying this kind of little special field, write these entries for it. And I got asked to write one little entry, and here was the original title. How do people learn? Biologically, what's the process that happens when people learn, okay? And so I wrote this little, it was about a 1.5-page thing, trying to sum up about 25 years of research. I'm going to tell you the basics of what that said, but can I use your brain? Just an example, okay? Okay, first name? I know that, but they don't know that. Okay, so ready? Sharon, watch. If you want people to learn out of your session and you say something good, why am I suggesting that you pause? Watch what happens biologically. Imagine this afternoon, I say something, Sharon wants to remember it. That probably won't happen, but if it did, biologically, how does that work? Well, ready? Here we go. 25 seconds, summing up, 25 years of research, and you don't have to remember anything about what I'm about to say except for the last bullet. Ready? Here we go. The dendrites of one brain cell approach the axon of another brain cell. They get really close, but they don't quite touch. Then this one secretes some glucocorticoids that go across the neuroreceptor sites, and a myelination process happens to increase the conductivity of electricity from one cell to the other, often called synaptic adhesion, as they form certain shapes across millions of cells simultaneously and create memories. No one's ever clapped before. Most people have gone, all right, that's weird. Okay, so why am I saying this? This is not magic. It's a chemical, biological, electrical process. But for some reason, most speakers think remembering and learning is magic. I said it, and they know it. Anybody remember that from high school? Teacher says 1,000 things, and they expect, well, I said it, so you should know it. No, it's a process, and it takes time. So if you say something good, you want to say, look, if I say something and she wants to remember it, this little thing, the dendrites and the axons are getting together and they start working. But if I keep talking and she pays attention to me, what does it do to our memories of that moment? You bet, it interferes with them. And it creates that feeling like tonight, at that wild dinner you're going to tonight, if someone came up and said, hey, do you remember that thing that he said this afternoon? That's when we stand there and go, oh, ooh. I know this one. Hold on here. That's your brain going, trying to get back together again. Have you ever felt that way? Okay, and that's only because we haven't given the brain time to process it, time to put the little thoughts together again and think about it. So when I say let them think for just a moment, there are all kinds of moments. So if I see people write, then I usually pause for a moment to let people catch up. Sometimes if you put up something on the visual, on the screen, what do people do? And if there's words on it, what do they start to do? Okay, but what do most speakers do in that moment? Stop it. Instead, honor the human beings that you are working with. Stop for a moment and say, please, take a look. Wait, I'm going to show you something. I get this a lot, ready? I honestly think this is not real anymore. Man, it's good. I work with a number of speaking groups, all right, and they say, yeah, make sure your slides are readable. Then I go to a conference. I was just at a project management conference in Auckland about 3 months ago. Slides like this were all over the place. So when that comes up, what is your human being reaction to it? Of course, we just go like, ah! Like that. And we want to run away. So all you want to do is just stop for a moment, pause, let people read, and then you'll see their heads will turn back to you, and that's when you start to explain, add the verbal portion. Does this make sense? Yeah, absolutely. All right, ready? I'm going to move on to something different in just a moment. Right now, talk to people near you. This thinking thing. Could you use it anytime, like next week when you're doing your presentation, running a meeting, anything? Ready? Talk about it. Go. Watch. Would you ever go to lunch with somebody? What do we have time for lunch today? How long was it? 45. Okay. Would you ever go to lunch with someone and say, hi, we only have 45 minutes, so you take this 45 minutes. I'll just stand here and look at you. Sorry. Okay. Would you ever do that at lunch? Folks, if you don't believe anything else I'm saying, look at your own life. Your brain is built for back and forth. That's the highly non-scientific way to say it. The scientific way is your neocortex protects you from too much information. Therefore, you get a numb brain if someone talks at you too much. We are built for back and forth, back and forth. Also, let me add something to it. Someone said you get more value from people. Eve, I think you said something about that, about people making connect. Yeah, of course. Sometimes if people stop and they talk to someone else about it, they're making sense of it in their head. Someone else is then making sense of it. And back and forth, you actually build meaning. They connect it together. But again, I work with a lot of speakers who say, no, I would never do that. I don't have a lot of time and I got a lot of important stuff to tell them. Well, you can say it all, but if they don't remember it, then why were you there? What's the point of you being there? So it's not that you don't say all your good stuff. You just take a few moments and let people make value out of it. So think, talk, visuals up there. Oh, we'll get to move in a moment. Anybody ever had a university class like that? That's because your brain's not built for it, folks. It's just reality, and that's how they see you if you stand up there and talk too much. Yeah. I saw a comedian on last week, can't even remember the name now. But has anyone ever had this experience? You want to see what your brain does? Have you ever actually watched on TV or live a comedian? And they say something and you think, that is the funniest joke. I have so got to tell that tomorrow. Okay? And then the show goes on, and the minute the show's done, what happens? Because your brain is not built for magic memories. Your brain needs time to process it. If I've ever seen one of those and I wanted to steal a comedian's joke for one of my presentations, I stopped the presentation. Well, not if they're live on the stage. But I literally will stop, or if I really truly want to remember and it's a live session, I literally will put my head down, not look and listen, and I'll write it down, because memory is not magic. It has to have some way to connect, and talking is it. Anybody going to Michael Grinder's presentation next week? I know Michael's coming to the conference tomorrow. Remember you are. Folks, if you've not heard of Michael Grinder or seen one of his things, I'd really recommend you get a chance to do it. I've known Michael for almost 30 years now, been a good friend. One of my favorite memories of Michael, I hadn't seen him for a while, so now we're about 3 years ago. He flew into Sydney, where I currently live, and I have stepdaughters now, and they've never met him before, okay? But they came in town, and he came to dinner at our house. And he was saying, here's what I talk about, nonverbals, By the way, my daughters liked him so much, they officially adopted him as their grandfather. They literally did. They were so excited because they don't actually have a grandfather in their lives. So they said, we want you to be our grandfather. So after he left, they made up this huge certificate. They got it printed out, framed it, and sent it to him in the U.S. So I think we're going to dinner next Wednesday with one of the daughters. The other one's like up in Armadale right now. Oh, there you go. I was going to say that. Armadale. It's close to here, isn't it? Somewhere? Like 3 hours away? No, to here, where we are now. It's like 3 hours away, 2 hours away. It's a long walk. Okay, good. Sorry, my youngest is now at university. And what we're talking about right now is so relevant for the following reason. Here I am standing on stage saying, please pause. Please let people talk about it. But how you do it matters. You can't hear homilies, little cute things that people say on stage, and just immediately put them into action in life. It has to have elegance to it. You have to figure out how to make it work for you. So the reason I was mentioning Pippa as her name, this is orientation week at UNE, where she's going to school now, okay? So she's 18 years old, she's a freshman, and during orientation yesterday, they had a speaker. And the speaker said, this is your moment in life, guys. You're 18. Whatever you want, dream it, do it. Just reach out and do it. Well, last night she was at the pub with some friends. And a guy leaned over and tried to kiss her. And he said, well, he said, whatever you want, and you look really cute, so I wanted to kiss you. Okay, she has a boyfriend. She was not very pleased about this particular interaction. He misinterpreted what was being said. It has to be done with elegance. You have to know what you're doing and what you're getting into. So why am I saying that? If you're like a speaker, becoming one, and you say, good, I'm going to let people talk. That's what Rich said. All right, well, be careful. Vary it. Find the right time to let people talk. Find the right question to ask people. Sometimes you make it open. You say, just talk about your reaction like I did when I started my session today. Other times you make it more specific. Name at least 2 reasons why. Discuss with people near you. But it's up to you to find out the elegance, how it fits in there. By the way, can I give you one more example of elegance in talking? This works for me every time. Is he still here, the guy who spoke before me? No. Because he said the funniest thing right before the Q&A. There's questions, and you guys went. And then he talked about that moment that came up before, right? Folks, when I've done Q&A over the years, the only way I've really seen it work really successfully is the first thing you do is have people talk. So in that moment, if we'd said, please have everybody chat with each other right now. Do you have any questions, thoughts you might want to offer him right now? And give us 60 seconds. Wow, that's exciting. Cool. 60 seconds to talk to each other. Was that you? Okay, it's always up, right? Yeah, okay. What people do then is they actually articulate the ideas in their mind. If a speaker is good, you're doing what's called intaking information, listening, pulling it in, you're not ready to talk. That's why we had, I call it the stunned mullet moment in here. It had nothing to do with anybody up here or you guys. Your brains are just turning to become verbal output machines. But how do you make it easier on the speaker and the audience? You say, please take 30 seconds, 60 seconds, talk to each other near you. Do you have any comments and thoughts? At the end of that 60 seconds, usually I put on music because during that time people first go, oh, well, oh yeah, maybe we could ask him about, and all of a sudden the words start to flow in our brain. This is the human process. We talk better first sideways before we talk in a public setting in some way. So ready? We're shifting gears in about 60 seconds. Capture what we've just said. When I say go, talk to people near you. Letting people talk. Can you use it sometime in the near future? Go. Let me complete that with an image for you. About 6 years ago, I was doing a presentation. This is in Nashville, Tennessee. There were 2,000 teachers there. Part of my job is I work with teachers in the classroom. And I was supposed to talk to them all day from 8 to 4. But about 5 minutes till 8, the head guy for this entire area said, hey, Rich, can I have the first 5 minutes? Well, if you're a guest, of course, all you say is yes. Okay. And so he got on stage. That was him on stage. At 8:05, I was not introduced. At 8:15, I was not introduced. Now, I'm not lying when I say this. Just before 9:30, he stopped and said, here's Rich. So for almost that entire time, he stood on stage and just talked. And now, he's their boss, so of course they don't want to get in trouble, so they're vaguely trying to pay attention. Well, here's what happened. When I finally turned it over to me, the first thing I did was I gave him a break, and then I talked to him during the break, and I said, do you realize that's a long time for people to listen to you? Maybe you should just stop for a moment and let them talk about some of the stuff you're saying. Funny thing was, he's 68 years old, and he said, talking to each other. That's a good idea. I never thought of it before. And I'm thinking, dude, you're 68. How can you be in charge of all these teachers who are working with all these kids out there and not think it's a good idea to have kids talk to each other a little bit? Anyway, what happened was we came back. And the first thing he did is he got on stage and he apologized. The audience gave him a hand. And he said, at next year's conference, I will speak much less standing ovation. But the comment that I often make is if you don't let people talk, people misbehave. Like they get frustrated, especially kids. They get frustrated, they start to just act out, talk out, right? And so I said that later today. Everybody thought it was funny, okay. But at 4 o'clock, I'm packing up. A lady comes up to me and says, hey, Rich, remember you said if you don't let them talk, they misbehave? Well, while he was talking, I misbehaved. And so what you're about to see, you have to watch it happens really fast. She was really grumpy that he was talking for so long. This was her way of expressing her grumpiness. He's doing his thing. Do not let your audience think that about you. Instead, find some way to get them thinking, walking, talking. All right, let's do it, please. Stand on up. Let's do it. Do. And in 10 seconds, when I say go, find a pair or a trio. If possible, people you've not talked to a lot so far, by the way, it's okay to walk to find that 3 or 4. Ready? Find them. Go. Can you imagine if I'd said, please find a pair or trio? Make them into a statue. But in the background, would it have felt different if in the background I played something like... I would not wanted to have seen those statues. Not in public. So if you look at what I'm saying about these four things, notice that they work together. Meaning, if you let them think and pause for just a moment, if you let them talk, please put on some music. If you have them stand up and do something, put on some music in the background. It supports the energy. It brings a little bit of life into that particular moment. You think I'm not aware? I'm the second speaker in the afternoon. First time of day to try to talk to any audience. And by the way, please know it's not your fault. To digest food we've eaten, blood goes down there and a chemical process happens. That means blood's not left to take oxygen to your... So if you speak after lunch, you've got to move them around a bit if you hope they're going to remember what's happening. All right, so folks, I got permission to do one last very brief thing with you. Ladies at this table, stand up. That wasn't a question. Stand up. Come here. Come. Okay, quickly get two handfuls. Dun, 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 dun. Sam, I'm setting up your night by doing this, okay? Just so you know, okay? Quickly, spread out facing the audience. And please put your hand up, if you have a hand free, up over your head like this. Everyone in the room. Hands, 2 hands are better. Keep them there. They're there for your protection. Because when I say go, these need to be tossed up and out to everybody. Ready? 1, 2, 3, go. You've done it at least once. Hold your cord up. Explain to you how it's done. Let's see if we can figure it out. The easiest way to explain it is go back to the beginning. Turn around so you can follow. Turn your palms so they're facing. Be on stage. Okay. Now put the rear in. Okay, now pause, shake it off to make sure you got that. Palms towards you. Right away. Bring together, right thumb on the cork. Ring finger reaches over and grabs the other end. Stay there now and listen. The other thumb has to choose an end of that other, and that's inside. The other ring finger comes down, 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 and that's when they should be in the right position. That'll help 5 more people. Please now, try to help each other. 30 seconds, go. Good, pause there. Please give him a hand for doing that. Folks, what song was playing while you were trying to do that? Why? Well, here's one more thought. Thanks, guys. I appreciate that. Just one more thought. Thematic music. Could you maybe consider putting on a song occasionally that somehow matches whatever you're trying to offer people to think about? And sometimes very auditory people will use that and it'll be a better connection for them. In fact, speaking of that, one of the great ways to use like thematic music is closing at the end of your session. So you might play something like, if you want to have a little fun, maybe you could say, and if you really didn't like that particular audience and wanted them to leave, maybe you could play. Thanks. Folks, I'm going to end with a thought for you. Thank you for playing along. Sometimes I get on stage and people think, oh my God, what planet have we landed on? but I honestly have some different beliefs about how speaking should happen. It is about the person on stage, but it's also very much, if not more, about the audience that you're talking to. So Steven Spielberg once said, in a very famous quote, he said, "The most important 5 minutes of any movie are the time between when it ends and the audience reaches their car. That walk to the car is when they decide whether they liked or didn't like the movie." And I say, in our world of presenting and speaking, the same thing is true. When you finish for that first 3, 4, 5 minutes, what is the audience going to say about what you did? Were they fully engaged? Will they take away some good stuff? Or was it all good and they just got overwhelmed by all that great information? We don't want that. We want them to know what they're thinking about, make connections to their world in some way. And that's what these strategies are all about. So ready? Do it with me one last time. What are they? Thank you very much, folks.
Sam Cawthorne here, CEO and founder of Speakers Institute. If you give me 60 seconds of your time, I'll show you how to set up an online webinar in 48 hours while growing your authentic followers to tens of thousands, and then teach you how to package your IP so they buy your programs online using what we call influence on video. What this means is you talk to camera, share your value, and then stack your offerings and create urgency in a way that makes it so irresistible that they click the button and purchase your high ticket sale. Talk with any of our clients globally, and I promise you will not find anyone that does what we do. All you have to do is to create an online event, share your ideas, and then stack your offerings just like this. And here's the big secret. Everyone is online right now searching for people just like you to help them learn things that you already know. There are people doing it right now, but they probably don't know as much as you. So right now is your chance to learn how to sell online, and my influence on video formula is easy to use and foolproof for anyone to master. Just recently, I did a 1.5 hour video online to only 40 people, and at the end, 10 of them bought my $4,000 product, all by one click of the button. It was seamless. So if you want me to show you how to influence on video, stack your offerings that make it irresistible, learn my exact script so you can come across authentic and real, and create urgency so then they buy immediately, then click on the link below and join my free masterclass.
To firstly acknowledge you, Sam. Thank you so much for instituting the Speakers Institute, and all of the lovely people who've attended today. I think they've done an absolutely wonderful job. I think all of their stories are worthy of stage presence. I think you'll all go very far.
I just wanted to say, being out of the workforce for 6 years, looking after little kids, and this is the first course I've ever done. And it was astounding. It blew my mind. It was beyond my expectations. And thank you, Kate, for the feedback today. That was brilliant. And it's given me the confidence to back myself, because I didn't have that before. Because, you know, when you leave for a while and you come back, it's all a bit dodgy. So thank you.
Basically, because I felt that despite having a successful career, I was being held back by my own internal difficulty with public speaking. Obviously, it's been a really valuable 3 days. I caught a lot of techniques, a lot of experience on speaking, but I think surprisingly, the most important thing as well, my message. I really nailed down what my message is to take out there into the world.
I think the process was useful. I think it helped me really clean up and clarify my story. And I think that should go a long way to take me to where I want to.
Do you remember your parents loving you to the core no matter how you were? The reason why I joined Speakers Institute's boot camp is to only improve better, because learning is a continuous process. And I do think that I have become one of the greatest influencers that you will see. I spent my entire teenage being called names. And I saw other girls, other women, other boys as well being called names. We as humans are so quick in passing a comment to somebody based on their appearance. And I faced all of that.
You know, the universe gives us challenges to create greatness.
Yes.
And I think you are on the tipping point of that greatness. The old is gone, the new is here. Step out into the world and create that change, and you are going to be the change for so many people. Congratulations.
This is the Celebrity Authority Show. Please welcome your host, Sam Cawthorne!
Hey, welcome to the studio. Hey guys, I'm super excited about today's interview with Nate Anema. Nate, thank you so much for joining us from Western Australia, straight through here in Sydney. Thanks for coming.
Blessed to be a blessing. Thank you for having me, Sam.
Nate, you really are an expert and a coach when it does come to all forms of sales and marketing, particularly online. Tell us why, clever sales and marketing techniques are really needed, particularly in the online world, for the new business owners that are coming through.
Well, look, what we've noticed is we're getting more and more into this digital age. I mean, we're in the fourth major big boom, and it's gone digital. So some of the biggest amounts of money that have occurred in the last 5 to 10 years have actually been online. Bitcoin, e-commerce, just to name two of them, and all the cryptocurrencies that go with it. But things that we used to do face-to-face are now working and very successful online as well. So it's more important than now more than ever to actually make sure that what we're delivering works on all platforms, not only face-to-face, but in that digital age. I mean, we're flicking through on Facebook all the time, on all the other social media platforms. We've got to grab people straight away. They spend more time on a phone than we actually do face-to-face. I simply say that a lot of the majority of my day is on a Zoom or a Skype call. I have closer relationships that I
really certainly people that you Harry, but uncover that. Tell us a little bit more about your story and how you got to this place.
And when it came time for me to find my own faith, so to speak, I did what all pastors' kids do, and that is rebel. So I decided to try my hand at everything. Being a PK, give me what you got. So I found myself mixing with the wrong crowd, doing the wrong things, and built myself quite up a big reputation in that bad world, because I thought that was what being a man was. Turns out I was completely wrong.